Hi, yeah, my name's Phil Saville from a company called CIS. CIS has been going now for 30 years and providing IT managed services and specialising in cybersecurity. So the webinar today is all about making sure that you understand the risks and potential challenges regarding working from home around your IT and the effects it has on your business alone. So I'm just going to share with you my presentation, so just bear with me. Okay. Right. So, obviously, COVID-19 is a virus which is causing huge disruption. But with many businesses now getting familiar with working at home, you want to make sure that you don't suffer the business problems of virus. So from the beginning, cybersecurity hasn't always been at the forefront for business owners when this first happened. Just being operational at home was a huge success for most. So with the risk of cyber attack being higher than ever, and the impact on your business could be critical, like data loss or ransomware or a GDPR breach. So this is why hopefully you'll get some things out of this webinar. So if there is just one thing that hopefully you'll take away from today, that is a question that you ask yourself: am I secure enough? Have I reduced the risks to my business, and does that give me a peace of mind to sleep at night? Hopefully the next sort of 20 minutes, this will answer some of those questions, but also give you something to think about as well. And finally, and probably more importantly, give you a channel to ask for advice, whether it's about solutions or just general support from myself or the team at CIS, because that's what we're aiming to do over the next coming months as well, is try and help as many businesses as we can and get them on the sort of straight and narrow in the right direction. So, three things I'm going to cover today. One is obviously what are the hidden IT risks when working from home for users, how the cyber criminals are up in their game and they're doing this on a daily basis. And then what tools are out there that you can use to sort of, improve productivity, help your users deliver what they need to deliver when working from home. So start off. What are the hidden IT risks from working from home? So devices being used, and really there's two types of devices. There's personal devices, laptops and actual PCs, or company ones. The personal ones we call a BYOD, so it's you bring your own device. Normally you would be bringing it to the office, but obviously now you're probably using it at home. And it's things like Windows 7, obviously up to this year, should I say January, Windows 7 now isn't supported, and a lot of businesses have taken that on board. However, home users, it might be a bit different when they've got to replace it or upgrade their operating system, or even replace their laptop and PC. So you might have users that are using Windows 7 device, and when we say it's not supported, it's basically it's not providing security updates from Microsoft. Also, when using personal devices, is where are they saving those documents that are being emailed to them that they are working on? Are they saving them locally to the device? And of course, that has GDPR concerns if a hard drive fails, for example. And we'll come on to more about that later. Antivirus. Most companies have got it nailed regarding antivirus, and obviously the good ones have got ransomware protection as well. But home users, again, are they using a free antivirus that's being used to sort of access your data and do your, and run your business from that? And then of course, personal mobiles and tablets are being used for emails and so on, and probably more so now that they're at home. A lot of people are investing in laptops, and in fact there's a shortage, and unfortunately the price is going up, but laptops are definitely an investment for the future because they can be used not just at home but back in the office, and it's not just about working off a 15-inch screen. And again, we'll come on to more about that later. And then also working at home, the devices, it's what you're connecting to that laptop, whether it's USB devices for, a USB stick for moving data from one device to another, backing up or moving data, transferring across, printers, mobile phones that you're charging. Again, it's almost out of your control of what the users are doing at home, and therefore accessing data in your PC. Updates, again, you might find as a company laptop that it's managed by your IT team or IT outsourced team, but at home users aren't quite up to date with applying updates. Sorry. Microsoft release what's called a patch Tuesday, so that's normally a fairly sized update, involves a lot of security, and that's normally takes place on a Tuesday. So please, make sure that your users are updating their devices at least weekly, if not more often. And if they're going to be weekly, do it on a Wednesday or a Thursday after Microsoft's patch Tuesday. So yeah. Connectivity. So home broadband, everybody's now working from home, and of course performance may be, may be struggling. You may be losing connection. The way to look at it is that home broadband, normally there's a contention ratio of 50-1. So that means that there's 49 other people, other known households, that are sharing the same connection. And if you think about how many devices you've got, I did a tally up, and we've got 3 laptops, 2 iPads, 3 Alexas, a PC, 2 smart TVs. That's 15 devices alone. Times that by 49, and you're up to sort of 750. You're up to 750, users on that broadband pipe as such. So, it may be looking at worth getting a second line in and things like that. And again, I'll come on to more about that later. And of course, users are remoting from home into the office. So again, you've got 2 broadbands. You've got the home broadband and you've got the office broadband that may be being hit, and that may be causing performance issues and dropouts and so on. So it's just to be aware about that. Communication methods. Since people have been working from home, there's obviously been an increase in internal emails, because they haven't got that face-to-face communication, and of course that's that on its own sort of can cause security problems. But it's being aware of that, and people are finding their own methods of communicating. So again, it's finding and providing the right sort of solutions that fit, and making sure that you're aware of what ones they're using, and again, what ones are sort of at risk. VoIP. So VoIP is a voice over IP, which is over the broadband. So instead of your telephone line, you do it over the internet. And again, most businesses, if you've got that in place, hopefully it's just you can lift up the handset, take it back to the home, and you're now using that. The good VoIP solutions are cloud-based, and they normally provide a desktop application, so you don't even need a handset, and you can literally carry on as if you're in the office number, transferring calls to team members, and even some come with a chat facilities like CIS does. Okay, and again, other communication methods, there are things like if you're using Office 365, then you could take advantage of Yammer, which is a sort of company intranet version where, again, you can do posts and updates and still communicate with all the team. Or you can use Microsoft Teams with Office 365 again and have a dedicated team to certain departments, so you're keeping track on that. And a lot of people are using WhatsApp groups now, more so in business, and even communicating with customers via WhatsApp, and they're finding that really productive. Zoom, obviously we're using Zoom today for the webinar, and again, if you're using it, I would seriously consider upgrading from the free version to Pro Business or Enterprise, because these provide proper admin features and user management controls, and you can make sure that the security levels are in place, and again, I'll come on to that a bit later on. So always review the default settings in these applications, and get advice about getting the most out of it. And with WhatsApp, there is desktop application that you can download from the whatsapp.com website, so you haven't got to keep checking your phone. It's easier then, it just syncs all your chats there. You can obviously type from a keyboard, you can upload documents. It's easy to copy and paste links into that, rather than having to do it from your phone or keep checking your phone to see that. And if you sort of pin it to your taskbar on a Windows device, again, you'll see when messages come up, so you can respond straight away while sat in front of your laptop or PC. And it's the same thing for a Mac. They basically do the download for the Mac. So company data. Now, obviously, this is fairly important, or the most important part. Firstly, we at CIS recommend you keep your data in one location, and you make sure you try and do that throughout this period where we're in at the moment. Otherwise, you'll find you'll have different versions, and people will start saving it. Are they saving it on local desktops? Are they saving it via email, and then they're emailing another version off to somebody else? And again, it's just making your staff aware of the high risk, especially obviously if it's personal information that's could be a GDPR breach. And again, if just on that, if a user's got an old PC and then it fails, and they've got data, personal information stored on that drive, on that actual machine, then it is classed as a data breach. So you need to be aware of that. So, highly recommend cloud storage. You can't get any better than a private cloud, which is purpose built. It's dedicated to you, and again, it adds so much value and security compared to the public clouds of Azure and AWS, which is the Amazon, and Google, and so on. So yeah, this for us, this is we believe that actually this is a long-term solution, and people now are looking into things that are actually going to be, once coronavirus is hopefully gone past and we're out the other side, this will change the way people are working. So grasp it while you can. You've done the sort of the big jump already, and all your workers are working from home and you're working from home. Now's the time to start and look at, actually this could be a long-term thing. How can I make the most of it and get the best out of it and be secure? People at the moment, they've got their own physical servers in their office. And of course, they've never sort of thought about the permissions and the security around that. And now they're sort of, 10, 15, 20 miles away from that office, and they're still remoting in. Obviously, again, it just throws up concerns and worries about that. So just to be aware, don't fall into the trap of uploading everything to Dropbox or to SharePoint or Google Drive or your files and folders and think that that's the answer. Please don't do that, without getting the understanding and the security steps that need to be taken place, and get some advice on that. Either speak to your IT provider, or feel free to talk to us at CIS, and we will definitely point you in the right direction and hopefully help you from there. So, how are the cyber criminals upping their game? And trust me, they are, on a daily and frequently basis. Emails, spoofing, and phishing. So like I said, there's been an increase in emails. And spoofing is where an email looks like it's come from either someone that or a recognized source, or at the moment it will be potentially internally, so it looks like it's come from the finance manager or your boss or another employee, with an urgent request for you to do something. Phishing is where they try and get you to provide them with some credentials, and it may be that asking you to download this application, and of course, if it's a fake one, then potentially you'll be getting malicious software downloaded. So again, it's just, and the only answer to that really is getting a solution in place and training your staff and making your staff aware of the fake things out there. And there's been a huge increase in domains related to coronavirus that are being purchased, phishing websites created. So the National Health Organization. You know, there's fake websites for that, that people are accessing and either asking to download stuff. Zoom is a prime example, where Zoom websites, Zoom domains similar to what they've got at the moment, the original genuine one. There's fake ones being purchased, fake websites being created, and of course you go in there, you ask then to download the application to your PC, and what you're doing is downloading malicious software. So there, you know, it's a scary, scary thought out there at the moment. So just be aware and make sure your staff are aware about emails and suspicious websites. So video applications being hacked. Prime example today, I was on a meeting and on a Zoom meeting, and it was Zoom bombed with offensive language, and it just disrupted everything. And of course, if you're talking to prospect or a customer and that happens, then it can leave a bad taste. So yeah, it was an incredible site. They were just literally abusive messages and so on. So make sure that when you're using Zoom that you've got the default measures in place. Zoom have applied an update today, so you might have seen that. But I have, for those, follow me on LinkedIn, because I literally posted this morning about what security settings to do on Zoom to make sure that this doesn't happen. So yeah, just be aware of that. And people out there are using different video apps, House Party, more of a social thing. But again, there was rumours going around that, and there are obviously concerns around certain things. So make sure that you're aware. Applications being misused. So this is where users are trying to find their own solutions. An example was Trello recently. Unaware, someone posted a public Trello board, and of course this had their company data on there, their customers' contact names, addresses, telephone numbers, email address, and because they were they're misusing it, obviously it was out there in the public for the sort of criminals to get hold of, and then start targeting those people. That's called shadow IT, so just be aware of that. And then obviously hardware thefts. If you've got a physical server in your office, and again the backup is normally what's called to a NAS drive, so you're backing up in the office, which is great when you're in the office Monday to Friday 9 till 5, it's really good. However, when you're not there for week on week and month on month, and these offices are empty, people are posting about how empty their office is, and so on, and it's just allowing the criminals to actually pivot and go, right, let's target now these empty offices. Let's take away let's pinch their server that we can resell, that we can sell on, that we can sell to the black market. With that, your backup's gone as well, and all of a sudden you're in a heap of trouble. So again, that goes back to they're looking at weaknesses that this is generating for business and business owners, and they're exploiting that. So again, think about moving it to a private cloud solution, or at least away from your premises. So on to the third one now. What tools can you use to keep productivity high, and some top tips of using them? Additional hardware. I mean, it may seem sort of obvious, but again, people sort of forget this. They've got a laptop at home, they're working off the laptop. It's just a small 15-inch screen, and if they're not used to that, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's hard going. And in fact, small investment for a second monitor, and again, a separate full keyboard and mouse. It doesn't break the bank, and it just adds, improves productivity no end, because you can have a dual screen, so you can see, you have two screens like I have here. So I've got my screen on my laptop, and then I've got a full 24-inch screen as well, monitor, and again, it just improves productivity on that. Business routers. Obviously, at home, you've probably got the one that's been provided for, who provides your broadband. Very, very basic. Security is very, very low. So again, it's worth investing in good routers, business routers that allow, either direct VPN connection from site to site, or upgrading your business router. So again, you can provide that sort of security, connectivity, and also comes with firewall as well, which again, it just adds another layer of security on that side of it. I can't stress enough about, consider moving the server. You can physically pick up the box and get it moved to a private sort of bunker data center, and then carry on operating. It's physically secure, and again, it just, it allows you much more flexibility from when all this is blown over about what you do, and even saves you, all that electricity that's just running your server in the office and no one's in there. So yeah. So Microsoft Teams. Here we go. So yeah, Microsoft Teams collaboration. This is a really, really good product. And if you've got Office 365 and you've heard about it, start using it. It's fairly easy, straightforward. There's videos out there. I can send you a crib sheet on to get the most out of it. But it's got built-in. It's got video calling. It's got the chats. It's got you can store files for those teams. You can have different teams for different projects or for different departments. There's loads of ways of slicing that cake, but honestly, it's it's a lot more secure than Zoom. I'll be honest with you. And it offers so much more than that sort of product. So if you are using Office 365, then it's a very easy to do. If you're not, then it's free to download and get going. So definitely take advantage of Microsoft Teams. A lot of enterprise businesses and schools are shifting to that. WhatsApp, mentioned it before. Download the desktop app, use it like that, covered off that. And Zoom, again, it's a great tool. Just make sure you've got the right security measures in place. So just a quick sort of recap on some of the sort of top tips. Make sure you keep all the devices up to date, mobiles, laptops, PCs. Make sure that your server in the office, if you've got one, make sure that that's kept up to date as well, because chances are that will be neglected if no one's there. Make sure your team are aware about phishing and spoofing emails and text messages. Text messages are called smishing. But again, it's just making them be aware, and they normally come with urgency. So that's the best way to spot them. And don't click on links in an email. Just go and Google it, and you'll find it better. Review how your users are working, and this is around the shadow IT. Because you might find from week to week they sort of develop their own methods. So just ask them, find out what they're doing, if they can recommend anything that they're doing differently, and then you can review it and nip it in the bud and say, yep, that's great. Let's just look at the security side of it, or actually, can you start using this solution instead? Review, obviously, any tools that you've got in place. Now's the time to review them. Make sure that you've got multi-factor authentication enabled where possible, so it's not just password only. It's then you have to then get over a text message to your phone that you then put in the 6-digit code, or there's different ways of doing it, or a phone call or whatever. But adding layers of protection on there to access things, it may take an extra 30 seconds, but it will save you in the long term regarding the risk of having a cyber attack. Review, obviously, the risks of your company data storage. Find out where it is and what people need. Review if they need to have access to it, and if they don't, then remove that access. It just makes it easier for them. It just keeps it simple. But yeah, understand what they're doing with the data and how they're sort of managing on a day-to-day basis. And of course, if you haven't made a continuity plan, you know, it's not too late. You know, you've done the sort of the big step. So just sort of log about that and then revisit that, you know, and sort of develop it from there on the security side of it, and make sure you've got all these areas covered regarding what I've talked about today. And once you've got that plan, you know, share it with your team and review it on a weekly basis, because things will change. And like I said, it was, yeah, always there to sort of, you know, help you and guide you. And for heaven forbid we go through this again, you've got a plan that you know works, and you can then just start and deliver it, and hopefully it won't be has a bigger impact as this has this time round. So just a quick one on what sort of, you know, CIS are doing. We're trying to help as many businesses as we can, regardless of whether they're existing customers. And you know, we've just launched our microsite, which is our CIS IT surgery help desk, where you can get free support for any niggles or anything that you're having issues with from working from home. There's just a little process to go through just to book your spot, but then you've got an engineer that can, you know, work with you, talk to you on the phone, have remote access if you prefer, and we can then hopefully resolve the issue, or, you know, or put you in the right direction. And again, we're doing business risk tests. So if this is thought, you know, how risky is my business, then, you know, take our questionnaire and just simply just complete it, and it will identify if there's any areas that you need to concentrate on and build on. And again, we've got a remote working survey as well, just to help you cover what I've talked about today, and just answer those questions and just see where you sit within that, and how secure you are. Cool. Okay. I think that's bringing my presentation to an end. Obviously, if you've got any questions after the webinar, then feel free to contact me on these details. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm, you know, posting any updates, any advice and top tips as I go and as I, you know, come across. But yeah, feel free to contact me, and yeah, thank you for listening. I'll leave you with some useful links. Again, these are sort of business support. So again, it's free COVID-19 business support. So if you're watching this, there's some links on there. And again, any of those, let me know, and we can hopefully sort you out. Brilliant. Well, thanks for watching. And yeah, stay safe, stay secure, and yeah, be good. Thank you very much.